I'm gonna shake things up.
A cycle of anger isn't healthy.
I'll be healthy again, as soon as I make a couple of cheaters pay for blowing up my life.
There were a number of times when you or a member of your family needed a favor. This is a situation where you owe me one. Have a nice rest of your day.
It sounds like someone deliberately tried to hurt you.
Sounds like attempted murder.
Can't imagine how terrified you must have been.
I found out who did this.
I love you, Derek.
For one night, let me remind you who you still are.
I fell in love with an inconvenient man.
Now you have to deal with the inconvenient consequences. You see how that works?
You couldn't possibly hurt me more than you already have.
Don't try me.
We've got a problem. Protecting the family is our priority.
Agreed.
Communications with the federal investigator to secure her own immunity. Celeste chooses the moment Vanessa is receiving a philanthropist award to drop the truth. In front of the entire town, Celeste exposes not just the crimes, but Vanessa's willingness to throw Robert and, by extension, the family's stability to the wolves to save herself. The fallout is immediate and brutal. Vanessa is left utterly alone on the dais as her friends turn away. But a wounded predator is the most dangerous kind. Scenes later in the week show a stripped-down, ruthless Vanessa, no longer playing the socialite but fighting for survival. She delivers a chilling ultimatum to her sister: "You just made an enemy of the only person who could have protected you." Her next move involves leveraging a deeply buried secret about Mayor Burke, proving that even in her downfall, Vanessa has claws and she's not afraid to use them to drag others down with her. Hayley cornered, a desperate choice with mortal stakes. Hayley's quest to prove her brother's innocence in the Jonathan Hartman case has placed her directly in the crosshairs. This week, her amateur sleuthing leads her to a clandestine meeting at the abandoned Kingsworth Marina, where she believes she'll receive a stolen security hard drive. It's a trap, meticulously set by Deputy Mayor Griffin Reed. Cornered on a rain-slicked pier with no escape route, Hayley faces not just exposure, but a terrifying proposition. Reed, revealing a chilling calmness, presents her with two options. Option 1, he hands her and her fabricated evidence over to the police, ensuring her brother's conviction is sealed and her family is bankrupted by legal fees. Option 2, she becomes his asset. He wants her to use her position at the Kingsworth Chronicle and her access to certain families to feed him information and plant stories that destabilize his political rivals, starting with the Burkes. This is Hayley's moral event horizon. Her choice, made in that moment of sheer panic, will redefine her character. Does she sacrifice her integrity to keep her family afloat, or does she call Reed's bluff and risk everything? The final shot of this storyline this week is Hayley, shaking but resolute, making a phone call whose first words will change everything. Meanwhile, the real killer, watching from the shadows, now sees Hayley not just as a nuisance, but as a potential loose end that may need permanent tying off. Jacob's dangerous gambit, undercover in the underbelly. With the police investigation into the drug eclipse stalling, Jacob Burke takes fate into his own hands in the most dangerous way possible. Using his military training and contacts from a past he'd rather forget, he goes undercover, infiltrating the mid-level distribution network that's pushing Eclipse into Kingsworth's elite prep schools, including where his younger sister is a student. His cover: a disgraced former soldier looking for lucrative, high-risk work. Jacob's journey this week is a masterclass in tension. He must navigate a world of coded language, brutal loyalty tests, and constant surveillance. In a heart-stopping sequence, he is forced to participate in a warehouse security operation, which is actually a violent intimidation tactic against a rival crew. Jacob's skills are put to the test not in fighting, but in maintaining his cover while refusing to cross his own moral line, a balancing act that nearly gets him killed. The breakthrough comes when he identifies the local distributor not as a stereotypical thug, but as Leo Chen, the unassuming, well-respected owner of a popular downtown boutique gym. Leo is a smooth operator who uses his clientele of wealthy, insecure teens and young adults as his perfect market. Jacob's mission becomes exponentially more perilous when Leo, impressed by Jacob's skills, assigns him as a personal driver and bodyguard, bringing him closer to the source than he ever imagined. One wrong glance, one slip in his fabricated backstory, and Jacob's cover will be blown with catastrophic results. The Hartman fallout, a family at war. The Hartman mansion is a Cold War zone. With Jonathan buried and the will read, the battle for control of Hartman Industries is now overt and vicious. Eleanor Hartman, Jonathan's widow, makes a power play that stuns the board. She produces a sealed, later-dated codicil to the will, naming her as interim CEO. The legitimacy of the document is immediately challenged by Silas Hartman, Jonathan's ruthless brother, who hires a forensic document expert with a shady reputation. Their conflict spills over into their children's lives. Maya Hartman, who has been quietly investigating her father's private files, discovers a series of encrypted payments to a shell company linked to Mayor Burke's re-election campaign. This bombshell suggests her father was not just a victim of the town's corruption but an active participant. Her struggle this week is whether to expose this and further tarnish her father's name, or use the information as leverage to protect her mother from Silas. Her decision leads her to a secret, tense alliance with none other than Ben Sterling, Vanessa's son, who has his own reasons for wanting to see the old guard crumble. The Burke dynasty's cracking foundation. Mayor Alistair Burke is fighting a war on 3 fronts, and his polished demeanor is showing fatal cracks. The pressure from the federal investigation, fueled by Vanessa's leaked info, is mounting publicly. At a contentious town hall, citizens angrily confront him over the privileged protection of Kingsworth's elite. Meanwhile, his wife, Margaret Burke, begins to quietly move assets, a subtle hint that she's preparing for a fall and protecting their children, Jacob and Chloe. Chloe Burke, meanwhile, becomes an unwitting pawn. Still reeling from her breakup and the Eclipse scandal, she finds solace in a new, charismatic friend at her support group, who is, unbeknownst to her, directly connected to Leo Chen's operation. She is being deliberately groomed as a channel into the Burke family home. In a poignant scene, a stressed and distracted Alistair snaps at Chloe, accusing her of adding to his burdens, a moment that may finally push his daughter directly into the waiting arms of those who wish to destroy him. Shockwave. The pier explosion. The week culminates in a literal explosion that rocks Kingsworth. On the night of January 23rd, a massive fire and explosion erupt at the old Marina Pier, the very location where Hayley was cornered. Firefighters battle the blaze as a crowd gathers. Among the chaos, 2 things become horrifyingly clear. First, the explosion was caused by a ruptured gas line, but evidence at the scene suggests tampering. Second, as the smoke clears, one major character is missing, last seen heading toward the pier after receiving a cryptic text: Ben Sterling. The episode closes on multiple faces in the crowd, each wearing a mask of shock that conceals a different truth: Hayley's guilt, Jacob's suspicion, Vanessa's calculation, and Deputy Mayor Reed's cold assessment. The explosion is not an end, but a terrifying escalation. It proves that the battle for Kingsworth has moved beyond secrets and blackmail into the realm of outright violence. Whoever is pulling the strings is no longer afraid to burn the town down to get what they want. Final thoughts and spoiler teasers for next week. The search for Ben in the wreckage reveals a clue that points to a surprising benefactor. Jacob's undercover operation faces its ultimate test when he's ordered to deliver a package to a familiar Kingsworth address.